Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute, but you know what? Let's just get into it. This is something that I have been wanting to purchase for a while now, and they've got a $100 rebate going on right now, so you can pretty much find these things next to nothing. So I advise you, if you're looking for one, don't buy one used because the used market is more expensive than buying one new. So without further ado, what is this? What do we got here? Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. And you already see the Palmetto State Armory. That is where I purchased this thing from. This is the Kel-Tec. Okay? This is the Kel-Tec. And don't mind that because we're not going to pay attention to that. This is Kel-Tec Sub 2000 chambered in 9mm. Okay? Out of the box, what do you get? Well, you get the rifle. Okay, you do get one magazine. I didn't know that, so I purchased some more. But this is, and I'll get into this here shortly. This is the Glock 19 version, so it did come with one PMag, 15 round PMag. Okay, we'll put this one to the side, but it did come with that one magazine of that. Came with the rifle. Okay, came with all your which you will actually need if you've never handled one of these before or used one of these. It's nice. You will probably need to read this just to get familiarized with the weapon because it's a Kel-Tec and it is a lot different from your other firearms. And then also what's pretty neat too, it does give you the multi-mag grip kind of layouts, and then some more information there. So I'm going to push this to the side. It just comes in a cardboard box. Kind of wish it came in maybe a carrying case of some sort, but it is what it is. And I'll bring this to the table. Now, first things first, what I want to get at is this is made in USA. And Kel-Tec does a pretty interesting job with their firearms. This is chambered in 9mm. You can get this chambered in 40. This is chambered in 9, and more importantly, this is the, like I said before, this is the Glock 19 variation. So another one I had been looking at was the Glock 17 variation, and simply that was the longer grip. The grip is longer on the Glock 17 version of this, and so essentially it would only take, you know, the 19 round magazines are longer. With this one, however, which I find it pretty neat, it will take the 15 round magazines, and it'll also take, you know, the bigger magazine capacity ones. So if you're looking for one of these, I'd probably opt to say, go ahead and grab the Glock 19 version, because if you grab the, I believe, Glock 17 version, the grip's longer, so you're only able to stick in the longer magazines. This one I can stick in the Glock 19, Glock 17, however many, you know, it's got the short grip, so it'll take longer ones, essentially. So without further ado, here we go. So this thing is not very long at all folded, and I can confirm that because it goes into a backpack really easy. Super easy. So this is folded, and essentially what you're gonna do, and this is why it's important to read the manual, because it's not as simple as just, you know, pulling this open. It is once you get used to it, but in the back here, if you look, there are these it's kind of like a groove, and it's on this side and it's on that side. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab that and pull it. So once you grab it and pull it, and it doesn't even pull that far, you just grab it, pull it, and it releases it. Just like that. And when you release it, guess what you got? It's clear. The bolt is open and it is clear. So, and I'll go over that in a second. What you got is you fold it and it's open. And my camera's not fitting everything in there, but that is that's the whole rifle. Yes, it's plastic. Okay, it is plastic. There's some metal in his gun as well, but you do actually have an adjustable buttstock. You can adjust that, and I'll show it in another video. This is just kind of an unboxing and what you get. You do have plastic sights. Okay, you have your plastic sight right here, your little peep sight, and then you have your sight up front, fully adjustable sight up front. One of the nice things about this weapon is you do have a threaded barrel. and I find that very nice because if you want to shoot suppressed, you can. So you do have your thread barrel on there, and I will be using that at a later date. You do have your rail, so top, bottom. You do have your sides, so you can put stuff on the sides. I've seen guys put forward grips on here. For me, what is this? For me, this is simply a fun backpack gun. This is a fun plinking gun. This is a simple backpack. This is not a competition gun. This is throw it in my backpack, throw it in my truck if I go somewhere and I have it. It's kind of what I would consider a bug out bag, okay? What's really neat about this, and this is what I'm gonna be using it, is the daggers and your Glocks. Well, I'm gonna have this in a bug out bag with a handgun. And that handgun is also gonna be using these magazines right here. So essentially what do I have? I have a bug out bag that has a 9mm handgun that also uses the same magazines as my carbine. So I think for the money, it's unfortunate because the market on these things, they're used. I've seen them go $500-600 used. Well, new right now, and I'm not sure, maybe the Kel-Tec's coming out with a new model, but you essentially can buy this gun for under, and I'm gonna ballpark it here depending on where you're at, under $400. Well, after the rebate, well under $400. And what you're getting is a bug out carbine chambered in 9mm that is absolutely insane. Now I know Smith & Wesson has come out with their version, and Smith & Wesson's version, I think it's probably a little bit better. Kel-Tec does use plastic internals. Smith & Wesson doesn't. And Smith & Wesson does have the way the rifle folds is, you know, Kel-Tec's, and I'll show you how this folds here in a second, but Kel-Tec's folds backwards. So see that iron? See that sight right there? Kind of folds under and folds in. And so essentially you have to buy their proprietary optics mount that kind of swings to the side to to mount a red dot or something like that. From my understanding, Smith & Wesson, the way it folds, you don't need any of that. But I'm not throwing anything on here. I'm just going to use the sights that's on here. I'm not investing any more money in this gun. This is simply a backpack fun toy. That's all it is. So I'm going to show you something here. When you do unfold it, so you do have to pull back on this back here and it releases it and it unfolds, right? Right now the bolt's open. So what's really neat in the way I'm going to store this gun is I'm going to store it with the magazine in here, okay? So technically the magazine is inserted and my rounds are in my magazine, but this gun's not going to be loaded because what's going to happen is that bolt stays open, okay? And to release that bolt, what's kind of cool about these Kel-Tecs, you can kind of push it, but really you gotta slam it. It slams that bolt forward, closed. So essentially what you have is a gun that's folded, and you can fold it with the bolt closed. That's no big deal at all. But what I'm gonna do is, and I'll have to have another video because I've got rounds in here, but I'm going to store a magazine off in this gun, and I'm gonna lock the bolt back, right? And if I can get this on camera showing, it does take a little bit of effort to lock this thing back, but it locks back. So you gotta pull it back and then it locks kind of up, okay? So essentially what you're gonna have is a magazine in here. The bolt's gonna be locked open and you're gonna fold this thing closed, right? And it's gonna be in your bag. So when you need to use this thing, okay, you're simply gonna pull this thing out of your bag. Your magazine's gonna be loaded, right? You pull it out, you release it, you open it up. That's it, and it's ready to rock and roll. It does have a safety on it, so that's your safety, okay? There's no frills, okay? It is what it is. It's just it's a fun gun to have. I think right now, and I wanted the flat dark earth version, but they were kind of out of stock, so I said, oh well, I'll just pick up the black one. And I may go ahead and cop the the flat earth one just to have. But honestly, you can't really beat it. There's not anything else like this on the market except for the Smith & Wesson. That bolt is kind of hard to pull back. I think that'll wear over time. But there's nothing else out there except for the Smith & Wesson. So, and Smith & Wesson just came out with theirs, and I think it's $5.99. The good thing about the Smith & Wesson is it does come with 3 magazines, and what's cool about the Smith & Wesson, if you didn't see, is that the magazines are stored in the buttstock. So, you got 1 magazine in loaded and 2 on you at all times. I think Kel-Tec does make something to store the magazines on here, and if I get anything for this gun, it'll probably be that, but that's about it. Kel-Tec does have the M-Carbo upgrades and everything like that. I'm not, you know, this is simply a throw in my backpack and I'll use it every now and then. So that's what you get out of the box. Depending on what version you get, it's a neat little rifle. It's fun to shoot. The, you know what, the trigger on this thing, it's not the greatest, but I'll show you. So it is clear. Okay, so watch. See, you're gonna have to, if you try to, you can push it and it'll close the bolt. The trigger on this thing, here, I'll show you. I've got my scale here. So let's change this unit to pounds, ounces, and let's pull the trigger on here and see what the trigger pull is on this gun, if I can get it off in here. Yeah, I gotta get it on the trigger first. There you go. So it's a little tight off in here, I will say that. Let's get it on the trigger and let's pull it. 4.79 ounces. 4 pounds. 4 pounds. 7.9 ounces. Not bad. Not bad for this gun. So, I'd say probably a 5-6 pound trigger pull, honestly, but that's what you get. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, thank you for subscribing. I'll have more content on this gun.